The court's upholding an order.
That's a big one.
A policy that President Trump wants to end. Our DC bureau is live. Pausing a decision, the Supreme Court rules over a major voting rights act. Our DC coverage continues. And struggling in silence.
Hard to cope with sometimes.
How some students are battling anxiety. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Sabrina Lozano.
I'm Alejandro Hernandez. Today is July 25th, 2025.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
An executive order from President Trump gets blocked for a second time. A major legal roadblock for President Donald Trump. A second federal court blocks his controversial executive order on birthright citizenship nationwide. This comes despite a recent Supreme Court ruling that limits nationwide injunctions.
DC Bureau reporter Rosaura Mendoza is live with the details.
Good morning, yes. I'm standing outside the Supreme Court of the United States, where a recent decision limiting nationwide injunctions is already being tested. Despite that ruling, a second federal court has blocked President Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship, and did so nationwide. The move raises new questions about how much power lower courts still have to stop federal policies from taking effect across the country, and it puts the jury right here behind me, at the center of growing legal debate.
Birthright. That's a big one.
The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled this week that Trump's executive order, which seeks to end birthright citizenship for the children of non-citizens, cannot go into effect anywhere in the country.
Show me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like!
The panel voted 2-1 in favor of 4 Democratic-led states, arguing that a narrow ruling wouldn't provide them full relief. The states has challenged the order, saying it violated the Constitution and put future generations at risk. This marks the second nationwide block against the order since the Supreme Court's decision last month that restricted lower courts from issuing broader injunctions. That ruling has generated confusion about the scope of federal court authority. Legal experts expect further appeals in the coming weeks. Reporting from Washington, D.C., and for Caplin News, I'm Rosaura Mendoza.
A Jeffrey Epstein accomplice wakes up behind bars this morning after a court appearance here in Florida by her legal team. Ghislaine Maxwell remains in custody following a tense court hearing yesterday in Tallahassee, Florida. Her legal team appeared before a federal judge pleading for a reduced jail sentence. However, prosecutors pushed back hard, citing her significant ties to the crimes performed by Epstein. The judge ultimately ordered her to remain behind bars as the case proceeds.
The man accused of attempting to assassinate President Donald Trump will represent himself during his trial. Brian Ruth is accused of trying to assassinate Trump last September while he was playing golf in West Palm Beach. Since then, the federal public defenders assigned to the case have asked to be removed, claiming Ruth refuses to meet with them. The judge denies that motion and told Ruth that representing himself is a bad idea. His trial is set to start in September.
Calls for stronger voting protections are once again in the national spotlight. This time, due to a high-stakes Supreme Court case, the justices have put a hold on a controversial ruling that could reshape how voting rights are enforced across the country.
Our DC Bureau reporter Laura Iglesias has the story from Washington.
Good morning. Yes, I'm here outside of the U.S. Supreme Court, where just yesterday this pause was announced, giving tribal voters a short-term win, allowing their preferred district map to stay in place. But the bigger question now is whether the Supreme Court will agree to hear the case and decide whether private citizens can continue to enforce key parts of the Voting Rights Act. The U.S. Supreme Court has temporarily blocked a decision from a federal appeals court that limited who can sue under the Voting Rights Act. The Eighth Circuit ruled that only the federal government can bring racial discrimination claims under Section 2 of the Constitution, overturning a lower court's ruling in favor of tribal voters. The tribes warned the Supreme Court that the Eighth Circuit's ruling would, quote, kneecap Congress's most important civil rights statute. They also ruled that North Dakota has a long and sad history of official discrimination against Native Americans that persists to this day. The case centers on North Dakota's 2021 redistricting map, which a federal judge found diluted Native American voting power. That ruling was reversed by the appeals court. Jamie Azure, chair of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians, said in a written statement they are relieved Native voters retain the ability to protect themselves from discrimination at the polls, and that their fight for their rights continues. A final decision on whether private rights citizens can continue enforcing the Voting Rights Act could come as soon as next year. That ruling has the potential to reshape voting rights across the country. Reporting from the Supreme Court from Washington, D.C., for Caplin News, I'm Laura Iglesias.
Pro wrestling legend Hulk Hogan is found dead in his Florida home at age 71. As Caplin News' Julian Lascano reports, his legacy will live on through generations of fans who grew up idolizing him.
Since I'm the #1 in professional wrestling, everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon.
Wrestling icon and WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan has passed away at 71 years of age after suffering through cardiac arrest.
Fire Attack Bravo, Rescue 46, LR 45, Engine 46, cardiac arrest.
Hailed as a trailblazer in the wrestling business, the legend who became Hulk Hogan started off as a fan and musician named Terry Bollea, whose enthusiasm and height caught the attention of the wrestlers he met.
They said, man, if you could gain some weight and get a little bit of shape, you got a little charisma there, you might be able to fit in with us.
Bollea received the stage name Hulk after his fellow wrestlers noticed he was bigger than Lou Ferrigno, the bodybuilder who played the Incredible Hulk on TV.
Hundreds of thousands of Hulkamaniacs. We're going to make Woodstock look like a backyard barbecue, brother.
The peak of his wrestling career came when he defeated Andre the Giant with a body slam in WrestleMania 3.
Look at this!
However, Hogan's wrestling stardom did fade after he was forced in court to admit he had used steroids, tarnishing his reputation. Hogan tried rebranding himself as a reality TV star with his family in the show Hogan Knows Best.
If we're dysfunctional, we're a normal dysfunctional family.
However, that family image was rocked after his longtime marriage ended, and a video later leaked online of him having sex with a married woman. Hogan later sued the website Gawker for invasion of privacy and won with a $31 million settlement.
I think we made history today because I think we protected a lot of people from maybe going through what I went through.
From the ring to the TV to even the courts, Hulk Hogan will forever be remembered as the compelling entertainer and icon who fulfilled his very dreams.
For Caplin News, I'm Julian Lascano.
A dog left on the side of the road in the Florida heat.
That's still ahead, and so is the story.
Anxiety has very hard to cope with sometimes because like I feel like the world's falling apart, like everything, like my heart's speeding up.
How anxiety affects the everyday life of young women. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Radcliffe Art and Design Incubator is the velocity accompanying the fellow's rudder, as in a boat. Unless there is movement or action, the planned direction is of little consequence. We encourage the creative ideas into action, and from the experience of doing, we critically assess the feedback, adjust, and set out to rediscover the potentialities of an entrepreneurial mindset.
Standard, precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
A tense feeling spreads amongst young women. Anxiety is becoming one of the most common mental health challenges among young women. Okay, go again. Anxiety is becoming one of the most common mental health challenges among young women, affecting daily routines and overall well-being.
Our reporter, Jose Ruano, takes a closer look at why this issue is on the rise and what resources are available for those seeking help.
Anxiety is a growing concern among our generation. Many battle with it in the daily, but specifically young women are placed in a position where their mental health issues are not taken seriously.
Anxiety is a growing concern among a young woman today. With the pressure of school, work, and social expectations, many are feeling overwhelmed.
Anxiety has very hard to cope with sometimes because like I feel like the world's falling apart, like everything, like my heart's speeding up, hyperventilating. It's very hard to cope with it.
According to the Child Mind Institute, by May, adolescent girls are more than twice as likely diagnosed with a mood disorder as boys, with the prevalence in adults levels 14 to 20%.
When it comes to anxiety in young women, there are several key factors that can play a role. These include childhood abuse, especially sexual abuse, as well as health issues like thyroid problems or irregular heart rhythms. Ongoing stress is another big contributor, and so is the use of things like illegal drugs, alcohol, and even too much caffeine.
Many students that suffer with these illness providing tips on how they relieve their anxiety.
Some things that I do is, for example, like when I'm public speaking, I take a breath before presenting, or I'll look over my notes so I know what I'm speaking about.
Anxiety is a struggle for many young women. While awareness is growing, more support is still needed. From Caplin News, I'm Jose Ruano.
Drivers were shocked driving to work alongside I-275 in Tampa. A small black dog was found in a cage on the shoulder of the interstate on Wednesday morning. Florida Highway Patrol arrived on the scene immediately, and the dog is now in safe hands with the Pet Resource Center. He was found with no water, no food, and no shade.
We did scan him for a microchip when he got here, to which he does not have one. He absolutely is adorable. He's a very sweet little guy, and we just can't quite understand why somebody would do this to him.
Similar incidents have occurred in the past, and animal advocates want people to know there are better options when considering to surrender their pets. As for the black dog, he'll be ready to adopt this Friday. You're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
See us dream. See us remember. See us protest.
You matter. Your feelings matter. Your identity matters. Everything about who you are matters.
See us fight back. See us rebuild. See us shatter stereotypes. See us inspire. See us united. See us now.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Alejandro Hernandez.
And I'm Sabrina Lozano. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.